Hello everyone, how's it going? Once again tonight, looking at the mobile setup I've been working on. So if you've watched the last couple of videos, you'll know my initial mixer that I was relying upon bit the dust. Basically the mini USB adapter here is popped into here, so I've ordered a screwdriver and a soldering kit. I'm going to see if I can pop this open at some point and see if it's salvageable. Also do an update on the review. Shocker right now, I'm going to say don't buy it. You know, I was rather positive before, but you know, with light use it did break. But we'll pop it open and we'll take a look at the internals. I'm not an expert or anything with that stuff, but at least maybe if you are, you'll be able to see the inside of it, and if not, we'll see if it's repairable. But just because I didn't want to wait and I didn't want to break my main audio interface, which has been lugging around me on the road and taking hits from the phone falling on top of it and bumping around the car, I bought this off of Amazon. It's a MouKey ultra low noise 4-channel line stereo mixer. It's pretty much a $35 Canadian mixer that is very tiny and has 4 inputs and comes with a lucky scratch card, which I haven't scratched yet. It's very interesting. I guess this is probably the newest Amazon scam. You scratch it off, so let's see. Doesn't help that it's reversed for you. But let's see. Ooh, $5 it says. So I've won $5, right? Well, not quite yet, because on the back basically it says, hey, write a product review on Amazon to share your shopping experience, and then send an email to this email here with the order number, and they'll send me $5 apparently as an Amazon gift card or via PayPal. So watch me get scammed that way. I think I'm okay about that, but it'd be interesting. I wonder if maybe we'll have to do an experiment with that, see if I actually do get $5 back, or if that's a scam just to get some more reviews on the products they're trying to sell on their page. But I just thought that was interesting. I haven't seen that before with these kind of cheapo products on Amazon, but we'll see. Hopefully this one lasts a little bit better than the other mixer. So let's take a look. The suitcase going on here so you can see what's going on. Oh, figure out my camera one of these days. So I have now nicely been able to fit in a bunch of more stuff in here because of the mixer being a lot smaller. So you can see, if I can get my camera right here, you know, we now have a Korg Volca FM, the Novation circuit, and sample I can pack in here. So give me a second and we'll unpack this out. We'll take a look at the new mixer here and just play around with this setup for a little bit. And if you're wondering, the nice thing about this is I can cram all that gear now into the suitcase. It's all very secure. It's not going to rattle around in there, so I can easily chuck it probably in the trunk of my car. You know, I usually like to put it in the back seat, like underneath the seat, so it doesn't slide all over the place and bang around, but yeah, that was because everything was a little loose before. Now I can actually cram everything in there pretty tight, so it's not going to get bounced around. It weighs a bit more than the previous setup, but from walking around with the suitcase, even when it was lighter before, it wasn't comfortable, and it feels like the handle was going to pop off when I'm walking and swinging it around. So, but it's perfect for being able to throw in the car and go out and explore and play music. So that's fun, and I'm able to just put in some sound cables, some cables for being able to hook it up to the phone, so I can record things straight from the mixer to the phone. What other doohickeys do we have in here? MIDI cable, so I can do MIDI out from the circuit to the Korg Volca. Either the FM or the sample. I'd probably be mostly hooking it up to the sample, just because it has Pagin's custom firmware on there, which gives me chromatic play of the samples, and I need a MIDI keyboard to do that, and the MIDI out on the circuit kind of will let me send MIDI notes to it to play things chromatically, so that's handy. The new addition I've added in here is I've taken what I did a little bit of research, and this is the ripcord, which allows me to plug into a USB power bank and power up a Korg Volca. But I did a little bit of research. Just as one ripcord, I also had the KV volts or whatever it was basically that was an AC adapter to power the Korg Volcas, but you off this one ripcord, I think you can power a number of Volcas, at least 2 of them. So I have this kind of adapter doohickey I plugged into the ripcord, and now I can power up a whole bunch of my Volcas off of the power bank. I've tried 3 at once and it works. I'm not sure if all 5 will go through on the power bank. Maybe I'll have to try 4. I didn't really want to push my luck and fry anything, so but with 2 it's worked just dandy, which is perfect for this setup. So I can now add an extra Volca in this little suitcase, and as I drop my paintbrush, which I'll need later, you'll see why. Spoiler alert. So for the new mixer, the other ripcord for the circuit, and more audio cables. These are the ones I like to use for my Volcas that have the 3.5 millimeter outputs that plug into the headphone jack that can go out to a mixer with these 1/4 inch outputs. We'll look into that more when we set up this new mixer and play around with this mixer. So that's kind of what I want to do tonight, is just try it out a little bit. I played around with it a little bit the last night when I was just trying it myself, make sure it all works, but I haven't really played around with it too much yet, so we'll get some fun with it tonight. Another one of those same cables. Do I have anything else in here? What else is in the box? Oh. A USB to mini USB charger. So that's the other thing about this mixer, why I picked it up, is it is the only way to power it at the back here is a little mini USB. And that's about it, I think. Oh, and then because there's only one output on this thing, you know, if I'm just doing my own thing, I can just, of course, if I have regular headphones or if I have 1/4 inch headphones, I can plug it directly in. But I have this little 1/4 inch adapter, and then I have a splitter I'm plugging into that. So when I'm doing videos like this, I can hook the headphones into one of them, and then I can also hook the phone into the other one. Might get some not great quality, sound quality after, you know, doing, you know, I'm kind of daisy chaining the out, but for videos like this, when I'm not making music or anything, when I, you know, if I come up with something really good that I want to get on my computer or into a DAW, I can use my proper audio interface with this. But when I'm just goofing around like this, I don't really care if the sound quality isn't El Perfecto. And then, yeah, I got a USB cable in case I ever want to do modifications to the circuit. It's just handy to have in there. And I should, the problem is it's getting the suitcase is getting a little packed in this kind of slot here, but I do also have one of those USB to MIDI cables for the Korg Volca, the move over DeX packages. But I think what I'm going to do for the patches on the Volca is just kind of play around a bit and just kind of find 30 good, you know, FM patches up for it that will cover most of my needs on the go. It's most of I wasn't even expecting to use it with this setup, so it's kind of just a bonus that I've been able to bring it along. And of course I got a little I think it's just a regular headphone cable, 3.5 millimeter to 3.5 millimeter cable that I can use to sync the tempo on the sample, which will be brought in from the MIDI in out on the circuit. So the circuit will be the main tempo, which will control the tempo on the Volca sample, and then the Volca sample will send its tempo out on this cable to the Volca FM, so everything stays in sync. Cool. So that's what I got in this wonderful little suitcase. So let's get it all wired up here, and we can play around. Maybe before I do that, one thing that's driving me crazy on this thing, and let's see if I can focus it a bit better on it, is you can barely, you can barely see the knobs. Like the knobs, you can't see where the setting is on them. Like for example, you can see there is like the little divot, but it's almost invisible. So what I'm going to do is I got just some white paint from my other hobby, model painting, and a tiny little paintbrush, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint some white lines on those so I can actually see what the hell I'm doing on this thing, what the levels are at. So let's do that before we hook anything else up here, because we can let that dry while hook everything up, so let's give that a go. Give it a little shake. Now I should probably, you know, get a proper palette to do this with, but well, as I spill it everywhere, that's cool. Okay. And now you can actually see the levels. How about that? Well, we'll let that dry while we hook everything else up here. And I'll go wash my my brush. Cool, before, so I switched things around here so it's a little easier to see. I don't want to see my base anymore. This is dry on here, which is nice. Alright. So let's get the pinnacle of the setup, which is the circuit right in the middle here. And move all the cables to the side. And we'll start plugging things in together here so we can play around with. Move this broken thing out of the way. We'll deal with that another day. Mixer, now the one thing I got to be careful is on my power bank here. You can see there is 5 volt 2.1 amps and 5 volt 1 amp. Now I'm pretty sure it said on the mixer box it wants the 1 amp kind of generic USB power, so I got to be careful I don't plug that into the 2 amp one, as it might fry it. Don't want to experiment with that tonight and have it blow up tonight, so we'll hook that in and we'll get some power going. And there we go, a little light there is on and we have power, and this is running as the paint dries still on it, so we'll leave that be for now. What do we got here? This is one of our Volca cables. We'll plug that in, and yes, these are stereo, so I could probably put it into input 1 and 2 and, you know, ride that, but I only have 4 inputs here, so I'm gonna just put half of it into input 2, put the other one over there, hopefully where it doesn't run into anything nasty. And I got this little guitar cable or guitar pedal kind of 1/4 inch hookup, but it's perfect for this mobile rig because I can just hook it in to the mono out. So on the back of on the circuit you can do stereo out, and maybe I will at some point, but in this case, for this setup, I'm just getting silly and just doing mono out from it right into the mixer. Now you can see with how I'm having things hooked up here, it might be a little bit of a tight fit, but you know what, we'll fit it into 4 there. Let's see if we get these cables out of the way later when we want to get going here, so it doesn't screw up the shot of what we're looking at. Okay, getting there. Made a bit of a rat's nest of cables here. Careful, this is the rip cord for the Novation circuit, so we'll get that one plugged into the back here and into the other battery bank. I'm not going to use that 2 amp slot on the big boy. I'm just going to use this smaller one because I think both of these are just typical 1 amp USBs. And maybe while I do that, I got this big old, this is the most bulk of the cables here, so it's the Volca sample ripcord, which is plugged into this little doohickey, which is you can plug this directly into one of the Volcas, but then it goes into this thing I got from the KV Volts website, which takes the input of one and can splits it out to a whole bunch of outs. So let's put the USB in first. So you can see I have both of the rip cords in that one, and we'll take this son of a gun, try to loop it around the back here so it stays out of the way, get the FM some power, and get the sample some power. Now, do they turn on? No, they do not, but let's give this some power. There we go. Hello? Okay. That's on. That's on. circuit's on, and there we go. Everything's being powered by that one USB bank, which is awesome. Now, if you have the new circuit tracks, it has its own internal battery, so you wouldn't need one of these. But if you're not cool and hip like me, I mean, if you're like me and you're not cool and hip, you're running the OG circuit, which is actually still a very nice piece of hardware. So I'm powering it with USB power. So otherwise, you could technically power all this stuff with AA's or rechargeable batteries, but it's just nice to not have to worry about lugging all those around. And well, you do have to deal with this, but I find this better than burning through a whole bunch of batteries or having to charge up, 6, 12, 18 AA batteries constantly. And it's just easier to keep one of these USB power packs. Oh, 2 of them. I'm using this. This is probably a bit overkill, but I'm using this big bad boy to power this thing. I'll probably run till I probably won't have to charge it before this thing breaks or I die. But it works. So might have went overkill. I probably could have got a smaller one, but whatever. All right. So in our output, we'll put our little 1/4 inch. So I got the 1/4 inch to 3.5 millimeter adapter, which is then brought into the splitter, which I will then take this, once again adding another daisy chain to it. So don't do this at home, kids, because you're not going to get a great quality going through 1, 2, 3, and then 4 adapters here, and then to the phone. But hey, for when we're just goofing around like this, it's fine. But if I'm getting noise and buzzing on the line, well, let alone these things, the Volcas are quite loud. And I think they were even louder when I'm running them on these weird kind of USB power. I'll have to just do some tests around that, but whatever. It doesn't really matter when you're daisy chaining it 4 times out of a cheap mixer anyways. This is not going to be stunning quality, but it's going to sound better than just recording it through the external speakers on these. It's good enough for farting around. All right, we're getting there. I'm going to have to get a glass of water. I'm getting parched doing all this gabbing and not having anything to drink. So we'll finish hooking up here first. And then the same doohickey, the same, we'll put this one into 1. So we got the FM on 1, input 1. We got the Volca sample on input 2. And nothing on 3. And then we have the circuit on 4. And we'll just keep the volume level right in the middle for the sample and FM. So I should be able to dial those in identically. Maybe I have to put some white paint on these too, because I can't see where they're at. That actually is not a bad idea. I should do it on my Volcas. I think that's it. Oh, just forgot to sync. So from the sync out on the sample to the sync in on the FM, and I think that's it. Really all at this point, I just got to grab my headphones and put them into the splitter and hook the sound into the phone, and we can start farting around. So I don't think I have to say anything else. That's Out a damn battery on my, well, not battery, but space on my phone, so I'm gonna have to cut it off there. But you can see I'm still only at 3 bars in here, which is nice. Still got lots of room on that one, and on the big sucker, still fully charged, it's saying, with 4 bars. So, and I didn't even charge that up recently, so it's been like that for a while. So yeah, it works great for as far as I can tell. I'll check out the recording on the phone, make sure it recorded properly. But I think we got a winner here, and it's perfect because I can put it all together in the back in the suitcase very easily. So I'm gonna do that now, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.